My cousin's proud in Jamaica. Visa freeze from my labor. I don't own no.
I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God and His only begotten Son, who the world calls Jesus Christ. So today I want to go into church, about churches, how they're not of God. God doesn't reside in these churches. As many may believe that He does, that you go to church every Sunday and you hear the word from the pastor. He gives you his testimony, nothing out of the Bible, maybe one or two scriptures, but then he talks about how his week went and how, his testimony throughout the week. But none of this stuff is of God. And we're going to go through it with some of this scripture that we have here today. We all know that the Sabbath day is the seventh day. Sunday is the first day. So how is it that we're holding church on a Sunday, which is the first day of the week, instead of the Sabbath day that the Lord gave us? That's a topic for another day. But let's go ahead and jump into this. We're going to start here at 1 Timothy chapter 9. It says, knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man. And who's inside these churches on Sundays? People that think they're righteous, say they're righteous, say they've been saved, say they've been blessed with, just saying they've been blessed, that they have houses, the Lord blessed them with a house. The Lord blessed them with a good job. The Lord blessed them with money. But if we remember in Matthew, the devil also tempted God and promised him the world if he turned to him. But again, that's a topic for another day. So let's continue to read here. It says, knowing this, that the law is not made for the righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for the sinners. And these are people that you're not going to find sitting in the church. They're not going to be the ones sitting in the church. It's only the so-called righteous that'll be sitting in these churches. So all the people that this word is made for will never hear the word because they won't go in the church and sit down. But let's continue. It says, but for the lawless, disobedient, for the ungodly, and for the sinners, for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, and manslayers, for whoremongers, for them that defile themselves with mankind, for men stealers, for liars, for purged persons, and if there be any other thing that is contrary to sound doctrine. So this is who the law or who the word is made for. Because if you think you're saved because you have a personal relationship with Christ, then this may not be for you. You could turn this video off. So this word is going out to the sinners, the people that go contrary to the law, that don't even know the law. This is who this is for. So let's jump to Acts 7:48. So this is getting into the church now. So we're going to jump into Acts 7:48. And it says, howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands. What is a church building? It's a temple made with hands. As saith the prophet, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? So, as we know in Genesis 1:1, what does it say? It says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. So why would he need a church? Why would he need a temple made of hands? Makes no sense. He created all the beasts. He created all the land. He divided the waters. He did all these things. So now, why would he go sit in a church for, to get his word out to people? The sinners, like I said, the sinners aren't sitting in these churches. you know. Let's read that one more time. This is Acts 7:48. It says, "Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as said the prophet. Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord? Or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things?" So we can see here that the Lord knows that he's not dwelling in these places. Let's find out where the first church was actually at. And how do we know when we're in church? For that, we go right here to Matthew 18:20. Let's go to Matthew 18 and verse 20. It says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So where 2 or 3 are gathered, he's in the midst. So if you're out in the street corners, bringing out his word, teaching his word, inside of a school, a house, 2 or 3 are there together, gathered, speaking his name, he's in the midst. And how do we know that? We can go here to Exodus 3:26. We're going to just get the main point of what we want here. So Exodus chapter 3 and verse 26, 2 through 6, I'm sorry. And it says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him." So this is the first. The angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, "I will not turn aside." I'm sorry, it says, verse 3. And Moses, to this chapter 3 and verse 2, it says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him." So this is the first person. It says, "The angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush." So the angel is there, and God is there. And what does it say in Matthew 7? Is it Matthew 18:20. So we know the angel is there and the Most High God is there. So it says, "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So the angel is there and Moses is there, and the Most High God is in the midst. He's with them. And when the Lord saw and he turned aside to see, God called on to him out of the midst of the bush and said, "Moses, Moses." And he said, "Here I am." So that's the point that we want, that this is the first church that was ever mentioned in the Bible. And how do we know that? Even though it doesn't say anything about a church. From here we go to Acts 7:38. This is Acts 7:38. It says, This is that Moses which said unto the children of Israel, A prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, him shall he hear. This is the point that we want. Verse 38, it says, This is he that was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with the fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. So it was Moses and the angel. So what does Matthew 18:20 say again? "For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them." So this was the church that it was referring to in Exodus. Not no temple made of hands. There was never a temple. The Lord doesn't dwell in a temple made of hands. So we know that the Lord doesn't dwell in the temple made with hands. So why do we bring this out? Because the churches are not of God. What is of God? The work that the men go out on and do on the Sabbath, when they go out onto the streets and teach. That is of God. And we could get that right here in Matthew. Let's start with Matthew 22:9. Because all the pastors are doing is just sitting in their church waiting for people to come in and give them money. They're not out there looking for the trying to bring in the flock. They want the flock to come to them. What kind of shepherd does that? The shepherd's supposed to go out and seek, the sheep. So let's get this. Matthew chapter 22 and verse 9. It says, "Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid them to the marriage." So this is what the men of Israel do today. You got camps that do it all over the country. They go out and seek the people that want to hear this word, the sinners that we read in Timothy, the murderers, the gang members. These are the people. These people aren't going to come sit down in a church to listen to this word. So we have to go out there and bring them in, bid them to the marriage, like it says. Let's get one more of these. Luke 14 and 23. This is chapter Luke. I'm sorry. This is the book of Luke, chapter 14 and 23. And it says, "And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled." So again, this is the reason that the men of Israel go out there, and we compel these people to come in. We try to get them. We try to give them the gospel, the good news that they need to hear. We go out there and try to bring them into this marriage. We try to bring them into the book, into knowing the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God, so that they could come into this book and be part of, the elect, hopefully. So as we're reading into these, we can see that he sends us out there. Let's see what's going to happen once he's done sending us out, because there's going to be a point where you won't hear nobody out there no more. You definitely won't hear the pastors out there, because all they do is they stay in their churches behind their pulpit and, like I said, give you one or two good words and then try to give you the plate to pass around. This is the book of Matthew chapter 16 verse 16. It says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers." And again, that's the men of Israel that are going out now into the highways and byways, trying to compel the people to come in. It says, "Behold, I will send for many fishers, said the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after that, I will send for many hunters, that they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, and out of the holes of the rocks." It said, "For mine eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from mine eyes." So everything that you've done after he's sending out the fishers, which is, like again, the men of Israel going out to fish, trying to compel people to come in. After this is all done, he's going to send out hunters. What do hunters do? They kill. So he's going to send out his angels after it's all said and done. Nobody else wants to listen, or nobody else is listening. He's going to send out these hunters, and he's going to kill all these people. Let's get this right here now, Matthew 24 and 11, and we're going to wrap this up. Man, and it feels so good when you have one or two people stop and just hear the word and take it in. Man, that's the best feeling ever, man. Like, that your time is not wasted when you're out there, and they just want to stand there and just listen to what you're saying. Well, not even to what we're saying, but what we're reading out of the Bible. But this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 11. And it says, "And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many." So that's what's going on with these churches. So, I mean, like they always say no to church. Church isn't doing anything for you. If anything, just get on YouTube and watch a video. Read your book. Read for yourself. Because as you can see, a lot of churches A lot of people are leaving these churches nowadays. But we're going to leave that there for now. And, just get into your word. All praise. And till the next time.